Welcome back to Two Kims One Pod. I'm one of your hosts. I'm Peter Kim.
And I'm your other host, Eunji Kim.
And welcome back to the podcast. We just did two very hot, steaming, career-ending Patreons. So go check that out.
For Peter, just for Peter, not for
just for me. If you're updated on the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, It Ends With Us drama on TikTok, I have a little piping hot tea for you.
It was piping.
So go check that out. And then the second Patreon is about comedy. And actually, we're going to be talking about comedy right now because we're both comedians, obviously. And Eunji just went to a festival in Ohio, one of my least favorite states. And I'd love to hear all about that.
So I'd never been to Ohio before. First of all,
I
had never been to Ohio before. I had to drive there. Very nervous driver. I drove for 6 hours by myself. Sorry to all the trucks that were... Sorry to all the truck. I will say this is, Peter, I discovered a new demographic of people that hate me. And trucks, because they did not like what I was doing out on the road. And
No, they can't.
So I had to pull off multiple times. But whatever. I went to the comedy festival. It's like maybe the first out of state like comedy festival I've done outside of improv, you know? Mm-hmm. And
that's not true. You went to the New York the Jewish comedy festival.
Yes, that's true. Right. But you know, like something like where it was much more about like younger comics kind of like hanging, the sort of vibe, you know, and there were like bookers there and all this stuff. And it really been a minute where I've been around like a bunch of comics that I don't really know. And
yes,
and I was also in and out. Right. So I just featured for River Butcher, was great. And
I love River.
And River's great. And then
great.
And then I left right afterwards to do like another spot. And
in the same festival?
Yes. But it was like a walk-on spot. It was just like I just did 5, which was Psycho.
What?
And yeah, so I was trying to do, by the way, speaking of bombing, I was like, I walk on, I just start to do new material. And I didn't realize this. Someone else told me afterwards, but they had been calling my name, but I was locked outside. So I couldn't come in. And so they've been calling my name. I walk on, and I'm kind of like, and I'm like kind of full of it. Like I'm kind of like full of like a kind of energy. Because I only have 5, so you got to come in. And I'm about to do all new, like a pretty like long new bit about the Olympics and like the vacation and stuff like that. So I'm coming in hot, and everyone is like recoiling, and I'm like having to take all this time to like figure out what the fuck is happening in the room. I'm like, why are you guys really are not liking me? Like, it's like this lady over here likes me. This, like, it's like very small pockets. Like I can feel it. Because it was like a kind of hot room, and the stuff I was doing should have been working. Like, because I was listening to what had been working, right?
Okay.
And so I was trying to figure it out. So I'm like spending all this time and trying to reset because I didn't know what had happened.
Within the 5-minute set.
This is what I mean. It was fucking work.
Oh my God.
It was work.
Ugh.
You know, because I couldn't push forward because I didn't know that they had been calling my name. Because if I had known
when did you find that out?
Afterwards.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because I couldn't figure it out. Because if I had
known, the crowd was angry with you because they were waiting?
something. They were like, there was like a hiccup in the rhythm of the thing, right? So they didn't trust me, so I had to bail on this new material and all this stuff and try to just like figure out what the fuck was happening. And you know, whereas if I had just known that before I went on, I could have addressed it up top.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And so whatever, that's fine. But just to kind of go off of kind of what we were talking about in the Patreon, I will say this. I have forgotten what it was like to be like a woman, be a mother, be married. I had forgotten what it was like to literally watch the interest drain from men's eyes in real time. It was so fascinating because it'd been because everybody knows, you know, like here there's like, and I don't curry that type of favor or like, there's never been a man who's been in a conversation with me who walks away being like, I think she liked what I had to say. Like, you know what I mean? No one.
No, I can't imagine that.
Like, I'm not interested in what you have to say. Like, I don't care about your opinion. And that compounded by the fact, like that being my demeanor, and also they can't fuck me. I don't want to fuck them.
Yeah.
Just like I've forgotten what that was like. I've forgotten that
what the
kind
real
of,
world is like.
Yeah, I've forgotten about that kind of misogyny. I really had. Because at the end of the day, they're always going to want to talk to another male comic, or like it's a 24-year-old like blonde white, girl.
And was this true for both sets or just the 5-minute set?
The longer set was fine, but it was just like
Oh,
it was
okay.
a full show, and even then it was kind of like, well, what can I do for them? Right? Like what I don't have any sort of real power here, like all these things. And it's like, also, I'm not going to, this is the thing, even with the 24-year-old, who's bad at comedy, let's say that she's just started after pandemic in 2022. Even though you're never going to book her, she has nothing interesting to say. And you don't even find her attractive, but the possibility for fucking still exists. Mm-hmm. And so you'll have a conversation with her and we'll build a relationship. At the very least, you'll learn her name. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so then in 3 years, when she is better, at that point, you've already have this relationship. And now you book her because she is better.
Yeah, yeah.
The part that like really got me in my spiral was that when I was worse at comedy and when I was a younger comic, and this happened to me all the time, I used to comfort myself with the knowledge that once I was undeniable, once I was better at it, that somehow it would rectify this issue.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I really did think like, oh, once I'm undeniable, once I'm better at the thing, once I'm able to do the stuff, surely. But there was no version of that.
Interesting.
There was no, like, even the fact that.
And you could get all that in that 5 minutes, like, and on top of the fact that like you were locked outside. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm not
there's
talking about on
so
stage.
much.
I'm not talking about on stage. I'm
What are you
talking
talking
about,
about? Like,
I'm talking about with the comics.
The hang.
I'm talking about the
I
hang.
see. I thought you were talking about the
No.
audience. Oh,
The
you're
audience,
talking about.
No, the audience is the audience is the audience. I mean, again,
Yeah.
I've been doing it for X amount of time, so like I don't.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I can
Yeah,
either handle
whatever.
it or I'm not. Like sometimes they're with you or they're not. It's the audience is the ocean. You know what I mean?
You're talking about the green room experience.
I'm talking about the green
holding
room.
area, the talent. Oh,
The hang.
interesting.
The
So
hang.
all these young comics are not giving you the time of day because they're like, I'm not gonna fuck her. Wow.
Because like once they find out that I am married, they want, like, you know what I mean? Any sort of interest they might have had,
Yeah.
gone.
What about the interest of like, hey, you're a Chicago headliner, so like I can possibly borrow your clout when I come to Chicago? None of that?
I think it's like maybe if I had. I mean, maybe that is sort of on me. Maybe if I had a more welcoming personality. If I had a little more of a welcoming or open vibe. No, I mean, I don't.
Inviting.
I think that did happen, and it does occasionally happen. But I don't necessarily seem like I have that kind of power either. And I don't put it out there like that.
Right.
Whereas like I think a lot of male comics would. I'm headlining here. I'm doing
Interesting.
this. I'm that. Like I would
Yeah.
just never say that. I am always not yet a peer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And people didn't find anything useful out of you.
That's right.
Interesting. Wow. And all you had to do was drive 6 hours to Ohio to figure that out.
And back. Brutal. Truly brutal.
Brutal.
I mean, it's
was it?
that sort of that.
Did you get paid for the other gig?
Oh yeah. I mean, not
Okay.
for the short set, but like the short set.
No.
Yeah.
The river set.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, for sure.
Great. Okay.
But I mean, it
Well,
was
at
just
least
like
there's that. But it is 12 hours of driving and
hourly minimum wage. But like I mean, the thing is, like, there's nothing that replaces doing time, like real time on the road. And like for that, I'm grateful. But it was like, it's one of those situations where I think even, I don't know, like I do forget because we work in a different sort of environment, but I was talking to my mom friends about it, and it's like, right, this type of misogyny is sort of like fundamental regardless. And it is not even like as just as a woman. It's very specifically like motherhood, wifedom, like where
Yeah.
you are no longer like on the shelf,
On the fuckable.
on the fuckable shelf.
Yeah, yeah.
You're expired.
You're that shelf in the back of Ralph's.
I'm
where
dented.
It's like
I'm dented cans.
must go now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Where like
Yes.
the bananas are going rotted, and they're
If you
like,
can-
just
yes.
take it.
If you
Yeah,
can stand the
that's where you
smell,
are.
if you can stand
Yeah.
the smell, I am discounted. Like it's like that's the vibe, and so
Yeah.
it's that. Like, and you,
Damn.
I just remember in my mind just like wanting to be like, please just perceive me, like
Yeah.
look at me.
Yeah.
I am I am a comic just as you are.
I am
like,
worthy.
I am,
Yeah.
like there are times when I would argue that there are also like even male comics that are like the good ones that like always go out of the way to be like, what do you have to say, woman? You know what I mean? Like I'm a feminist. I'm a male feminist, like that kind of thing. And they always even go out of their way to be like, it must be so difficult as a mother, as this. And I'm like, honey, I'm on my third tequila soda, and I've just talked about doing whippets on stage. Like we are the same. Like stop trying to make
other me.
yes in this way
Yeah.
that like you think affirms me, and it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting. Because like I wonder, would they say that to a white mom? Like, would they say that to Lori Kilmartin?
I'm sure they would.
That fucking sucks.
But Lori is
That
also
fucking
yes,
sucks, because
yes.
if you could get to Lori's level as
Yes.
a mother comedian, and people just still look at you as mom.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if there are some male
What a
comics out there.
horrific experience.
Dude, it's
Truly.
like it is one of those things where I wonder, at least with even with Lori, like just knowing Lori's like consummate professionalism, and also like her threshold for bullshit being so close to the ground. Like I like, I wonder if there are like male comics that have learned a lesson where they've said something and she's been like, oh, what about, and then they're like they walk away being like, yeah, I'm never gonna say shit like that again. Because there
I
are
could see that.
because
I
there
could see her. Yeah.
because I've had conversations like that. Like don't fucking do that. Like said like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm on this, I'm that. Like I'm hanging out here with you. What do you mean, where are my kids?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
The fuck do you need, what do you want to know about my kids for? Fucking
Yeah.
pedo?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, even within corporate America, there is no universe where a man being a father is going to limit his opportunity work-wise.
No. Why would it? You're a father.
Because I
You
mean,
don't-
like even yes, because like the thing is like
Parent.
because like dating wise, this thing, of course, it will, it should, but work wise, the fact that as a mother that it does
Yeah.
anything to my opportunities to work, that's the misogyny there. That to
Yeah.
me is like, because culturally, dating wise, sure, it changes my dating opportunities and my pool. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your personal preference. You don't want to fucking deal with another man's kid. Fine.
Yeah.
You don't want
Yeah,
to deal with
yeah.
another woman's kid. Fine. But like work wise, no one's going into HR. No man
I
is
mean,
not.
Louis C.K. made an entire career talking shit about his kids. Like, what the fuck?
But
Every
like,
male comic ever.
and the thing is, like, no booker is like, oh, I don't want to book him. He's a dad.
Yeah. Is
He
gonna
does
be
dad
Does
material.
he have time? Yeah. No.
He does.
No.
He does dad material. Who? It's like it's got to be.
There's
a
no such
specific night.
thing. I've never even heard of dad material. I don't even know what that is.
Exactly, because dad